So hi, my name is Cujo. So lately I've been playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption 2, and you get drunk quite a bit in that game. And I was also talking to my girlfriend about this story that I had that when I turned 21, it was the first time and the only time I've ever been like plastered drunk to the point where like I could barely function. So I figured I would just talk about it and put it out there. It's a funny story, but I also want to put a disclaimer and say that I don't advocate for you getting drunk or to drink or anything like that. Like, alcohol is one of those things that I don't think you should get into. And the reason that I wanted to get plastered drunk in the first place was so I could see what it was really like to just be completely shit-faced. I wanted the experience, and my intention going into it was like, I'm never going to touch this stuff again, but I just want to see what it's like to be shit-faced just so I know how dumb it is, basically. And spoiler alert in the story, yeah, I learned it was very dumb. Very, very dumb. But yeah, anyway, to give context for this story, when I was growing up, I was around alcohol quite a bit. A little bit in my family, a little bit in my peers, a little bit in my friend groups. And I was in some bad relationships as a teenager, and I toyed around with alcohol. But it was a thing that I saw ruin the lives of the people around me. And when I watched that, I was like, oh yeah, even though they think it's cool, like, it is ruining their life. I do not want to touch the stuff. So I've steered clear of alcohol for the most part, except for social gatherings like weddings and stuff. I'll have like one glass of whatever they're having just to get the taste and then not touch it. But for the most part, yeah, I've stayed away, except for this one time right when I turned 21. I made the decision with my friends, I just want to get plastered. And I'm weird when it comes to it. I just wanted the one experience. It wasn't like I wanted to seem cool or anything. I wanted to experience what it was like to just be completely nearly blackout drunk. I wasn't blackout drunk, but I was gone, and I'll get into the story and tell you like how far gone I was. So shortly after I turned 21, I make plans with a couple of friends of, hey, I'm getting drunk. We should just have like a game night where we play Payday 2 and we just drink and we have a blast and I get drunk and then I never touch the stuff again. So my friends were down for it. It was just me and one other friend that ended up drinking, and it's kind of lame. Like, I ended up going to the store and buying a case of Twisted Tea, and then my mom had some leftover whiskey since I lived with her at the time when I was 21. So I had this case of Twisted Tea and like a fourth of a bottle of whiskey that was going to get me shit-faced, and it was enough. Trust me. So I took all this alcohol to my room, I closed the door, I booted up some Payday 2, hopped in Discord with my friends, and the goal was to just drink and then just have a blast, play some games. We started out with Payday 2 and then did a few missions, was drinking the Twisted Tea, and I started to get quite a bit drunk. But I wasn't as drunk as I wanted to be beforehand. Like, I toyed with alcohol, like I said, but this is a time where I just wanted to see, like, kind of touch the danger zone with it. Not like put my life in danger, but I wanted to see what it was like to basically have my head spin and be borderline blackout, which I did reach that eventually. But in my dumb drunken stupor, I poured some of the Twisted Tea in a cup and then poured some of the whiskey in the cup, and I mixed the whiskey with the Twisted Tea, which most people who drink alcohol would like hear that and think that is absolutely revolting, and it is disgusting. But when you're drunk, at least when you were getting drunk to the point that I was, it actually tasted good. I don't know how like much it actually tasted good or how much I was like chasing the feel goodness of the alcohol, but I started mixing that and then drinking that while we played Payday 2. And then we finished Payday 2 and we switched over to Halo. We ended up playing Halo SWAT, and my KD is probably like the worst in any multiplayer match that I've ever played when I play this game, where I'm like shit-faced and I'm like going off, screaming and laughing, eventually to the point where my mother comes in and she's like, dude, like, you gotta calm down. You were like gonna freak out the neighbors, because we lived in an apartment at the time. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Ugh. Like, just super drunk at this point. And it was feel good. I was rowdy. I was loud. My friends were laughing, but mostly at my drunken stupor. Like, not really because I was actually funny. Like, I was gone. The last match of SWAT that we played, I ended up going like 0-24. I didn't kill a single person, and I died 24 times. And the last person towards the end of the game, I remember he started strafing. He ran up to me, he started strafing left and right, and I tried to headshot him. I tried to just shoot him so hard, and he just kept strafing right in front of me, and I just couldn't shoot him, and then he just shot me once in the head and walked away. It was the most gamer humiliation I felt in my entire life. But right after this game, we sat just like in the Halo lobby. I like fell onto the ground because the room was spinning so bad. I'm pretty sure I was speaking gibberish and saying like dumb stuff. I remember I was so nauseous and the room spanned so bad that I picked up like a GameCube controller that I had near my computer, and I was just doing the motion that you would do to wave dash in Super Smash Bros. Melee, and I like yelled up to my Discord, my microphone, since I was still in the Discord call, like, I could still wave dash, guys. And they're like, are you playing Melee? And I'm like, no, I just can do the motion. So I wasn't even playing the game, and I'm like, I can still wave dash. I still got it. Thankfully, I was looking out for myself earlier, and I ate like a shit ton of spaghetti before I started playing the game. But I was 21 and stupid, and I ate on a full stomach. So while I was drinking and my stomach was full, it wasn't digesting the alcohol. So the alcohol basically hit me like all at once and wildly, and I kept drinking while it hit me. So while I'm laying on the floor wave dashing, I'm like doing the wave dash motion to kind of like ground myself because the room was spinning so bad. Even with this technique, I could not stop the nausea, and I ended up vomiting all the spaghetti on the floor right next to me. Yeah, I guess I should have said raunchy details, but yeah, I ended up just puking up all the spaghetti I had for dinner, and I told my friends in my Discord like, oh, dude, I just threw up. Oh, my God. But it was, like, bad. The room kept spinning, and eventually all my friends had to go to bed because they had work and stuff, so they all went to bed. My other friend didn't drink nearly as much as me, so he was still functional, but I was, like, still in the Discord call on the ground, laying next to my vomit. I could not get up because of how nauseous and dizzy I was. And I ended up just falling asleep on the floor right there, right next to my vomit. It's like the typical super drunk story, I feel like. I laid on my back just because I couldn't fight the nausea and the spinning, and I eventually passed out that way. But I woke up around like 4 in the morning, and the nausea and the spinning was gone, but my body hurt like extremely badly. So I might have like alcohol poisoned myself a little bit, and I just got up and, I was in pain. I didn't want to touch the vomit or anything. I just went and took a bath and laid in the bath for like 2 hours just in pain from the amount of alcohol I drank. And the reason I like tell this story is not to like get you excited and want to do it. It was like 1 hour or 2 hours of enjoyment, and then like 8 or 9 hours of like misery. Drinking is not worth it. Like, even as an experiment, it was just not worth it. I'm glad I have the experience now just to know how bad it truly is. But it's like, it's stuff I cannot believe that the people that I've grown up around have got involved in, because it's just so dumb and not future thinking and very heavily in the moment, to the point where it's like you're not gonna have very moments in the moment to live doing this stuff, and it like causes so much suffering when you actually get to the point where it is too excessive and you're feeling pain and nausea afterwards and hangovers and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, eventually I felt a lot better, climbed out of the bathtub, got changed, went into my room, and I cleaned up the spaghetti vomit. I distinctly remember going back in and getting a whiff from the little bit of whiskey that was left in the bottle, and dude, it made me gag immediately when it hit my nose. Just because it affected my body so badly, my body like so heavily rejected the smell of whiskey the next time I was around it, which was, I guess, in the morning the next day. But yeah, I now know that as a complete drunk, I am super loud and super obnoxious and laugh at literally anything. I'm one of those kind of drunks. But yeah, that is my one time that I've been completely plastered drunk story. It's not the most crazy, and if you were to want to try to be drunk, I highly advise that you don't. But if you were wanting to experience it and you were above the age of 21, I would recommend doing it in a safe environment and not like going out to bars with a bunch of people and stuff like that, because like, dude, you completely cognitively kind of lose control. Like, your sense of logical thinking and reasoning is completely out the window. So I can only imagine like the dumb shit I would have been willing to do around strangers. So yeah, the whole point of this story is to tell you, like, just don't mess around with alcohol. I know Arthur Morgan has been completely chugging beers back in these clips, but don't follow his example, or you might just end up either in a jail cell or waking up out in the wild, as I had woke up in that like 4 in the morning next to my vomit, right underneath my computer desk. Don't drink. But you could watch another one of my videos. I made a video last week talking about how to raise a healthy gamer. So if you would like to learn about open communication or being a healthy gamer, if you could check out that video, I'll leave an annotation. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. I do appreciate it if you watch another one of my videos or subscribed or something like that. I'll catch you next week, and goodbye now.